I don't feel alone. We just settled in and it already feels like home.
You're listening to the Feels Like Home podcast with Mike Throne and Marty Ford. Powered by Horizon. This is big. This is gig.
Hey, everybody. Great to be back with the Feels Like Home podcast for this week. This week, you probably don't know our guest. Jordan Harrington is a young lady who works with my wife at the Tomlinson Group. And I just had a chance sit down with her. It really wasn't intended to do that. My wife and I were hanging out together on the back patio at her office. Jordan came in. We started talking about things, and I learned some new things about her. And I thought she's somebody that we should have on the show. And so we're going to have Jordan Harrington on tonight. Hopefully, you're going to learn some interesting and new things about her and her journey. And this is actually a landmark podcast for me because I did zero prep.
Okay.
Which is not typical for Mike.
I do hours of prep.
Mike is always prepared.
Okay, so I'm going to just say basically, so this was all born out of a random conversation that took place, I think, a week ago today, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Jordan Harrington is with us. Say hello, Jordan.
Hi. Hello.
All right, so Jordan works with my wife at the Tomlinson Group of Keller Williams Realty. And Jordan, exactly what is your title?
I am the marketing director, technically, at the Tomlinson Group.
Wow. That's even spicier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's pretty spicy.
So I went to lunch with my wife at Carl's, which is just a stone's throw from the offices of Tomlinson Group. And after we were done, it was a beautiful day. My wife says, hey, let's go sit on the back patio at the Tomlinson Group and just talk about, we're selling a house, we're renovating a house, and we were talking about some stuff there. And Jordan walked up and started telling me some bits and pieces of the stories that you're going to hear tonight. And I was like, whoa, stop. We're just going to tell these on a podcast. So I want you to introduce yourself. I think it's interesting. You're definitely going to be the youngest person that we've had on the podcast so far, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's fair. So just kind of tell us a little bit about you and how old you are, so on.
Okay. So
was that a good intro? That was
yeah.
Tomorrow there will be one sentence in that intro. So
just cut it all out.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm Jordan Harrington. I was raised in Chillicothe and I'm 24 years old. I was a missionary from the ages of technically started when I was 17, but went pretty much full time when I was 19. And, was overseas for a few years and then came home because of COVID. And so now I am working at the Tomlinson Group. Is that a pretty good intro?
That's really good.
Yeah.
We can't keep asking every time we do something though, if it's really good. We're going to have to say you get one and I get one and then we're done.
You get it.
So I think part of the reason why I wanted to have you on, Jordan, is because I'm incredibly inspired by your story that when you were abroad, you loved being abroad, and there's a lot to enjoy about being abroad. And but at the same time, your heart was someplace else.
Yeah.
And so I'd like you to talk a little bit about that, because to me, that's the most fascinating part of this. It's really a thing that we've really tried to create with this. Is this love of this place, this Chillicothe that, Marty grew up here, you grew up here. I did not grow up here. I thought I'd stay 5 years, and that was 24 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I'm interested in that part of the story.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. So I remember I wanted to be a missionary since I was 7 years old. I am a big person on legacy, and even I remember the first time I ever thought I am going to go overseas and live overseas for the rest of my life. And it was actually when I was younger, I was asking my mom about my name because I love names and the meaning behind each person's name. And so even just like the simple question of like, Mom, like why is my name Jordan? And she pretty much told me that she was a missionary overseas. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I wanted to go overseas and kind of build this legacy. In my mind, that's what it was. And that, of course, that like evolved over the years and stuff. And so, by when I was finally like of age, I pursued that. And when I left, that was my long-term goal. Like, I am leaving my hometown and I'm going to be a missionary forever. That was my heart. And it was crazy because I realized that every place that I went to, I was searching for Chillicothe in those places and just like things that reminded me of home. And I wasn't expecting to come home when I did, but I just remember like Christmas of 2019. And it's funny because with the Tomlinson group, I mean, we run Only in Chillicothe, and I was watching Only in Chillicothe videos, and I was seeing all that was happening downtown. And of course, when I left, like I had seen the beginning of a lot of that when all of the coffee shops started opening up and a lot of downtown businesses, and just seeing members in our community investing in downtown. But really when I was gone, I felt like it just started to pick up so much more. And I remember being on this like rooftop in Cambodia, and I just, all I wanted was just to be home. And I remember thinking, wow, like I literally have everything that I've ever asked for. This is everything that I've ever wanted my entire life. And I'm at this point where all I want to do is be home. And I'm thankful for COVID because that was my push to actually pursue that and come home and stay home. But yeah, it's crazy like how you can think that like you have the world, but all you want is just that familiarity. And so, that was kind of what happened.
That's a really cool story. We don't hear a lot on this podcast or in general. I was on a rooftop in Cambodia and I had this feeling to come back to Chillicothe. You know, it strikes me that a lot of people, like Marty's experiencing this now. I'm kind of experiencing it, but it's a different feel. Both of his daughters are elsewhere than Chillicothe. Mine are in Dayton. His are in Colorado.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so that's what we see and experience a lot in this community. Talk a little bit, because like you experienced that too. You wanted to be someplace else. What is the drive for that? Like, what drives that, do you think, in, you know, especially when you're in like high school? I get, and I mean, I'm not in my hometown either, but like, what creates that drive in us, do you think, to try to like see everything else or think that it's better than here?
I feel like everyone has this desire to want to be a part of something bigger. And in a small town, I think we have this mindset that it's not enough or it can't evolve and become something bigger. So I know like with me and with a lot of my friends, because when I left, a lot of my friends were actually moving out of state. And it's funny because we all didn't plan it, but moved back to Ohio at the same time. But I remember everyone just kind of having this mindset of like, oh, like, we need to go to like a bigger city. There's more opportunity there. And I think like a lot of it's like driven by like career desires and stuff. Right. But I feel like a lot of it's just wanting new opportunities and not really actually knowing how to cultivate that where they are.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And what then drives it in reverse to say, okay, I thought I wanted a thing, but now I want the thing that I had. Do you think? You got an answer for that? Remember, you're speaking for an entire generation of people. No, I'm kidding. I mean, what was it for you? I mean, obviously you felt like, was it the momentum that you were seeing building here, and that was what drew you back? Or
yeah, definitely. I think that's a big part of it. And I think like I talk with my boss about this all the time. Like a big reason why I love where I'm at in my job so much is because like we it's a job where like I feel like there's a lot of opportunity to really invest in the community and in local businesses. Like that's a big part of my heart, is just the local community, and kind of like, and I think this was my motivation in going overseas too, was just being able to push people forward into their greatest potential. And so I think the biggest thing for me personally, and I can't speak this for everyone, but just seeing the potential in Chillicothe, and wanting to be a part of like pushing that forward, and like seeing these local business owners really just like do all that they can to invest in our community. And like how much has our community grown just in the past few years? It's a completely different place than it was 10 years ago. So yeah, I think that was my personal motivation. And I feel like personally for a lot of people too, just wanting to take action and initiative, and like seeing that they are capable of being a part of that change as well.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. As a missionary, like your heart is to go someplace and serve.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think that what you're maybe finding in your job is there's a level of that same type of service to your to the community of Chillicothe in what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's what, my daughter Maddie did the same thing. She went to Kenya when she was 15 years old and spent like a week or 10 days. And then the next summer, we did fundraising, and we did soccer cleats and these indestructible soccer balls. And we figured out how to raise a bunch of money to take a bunch of that back over. And then she spent, 3 or 4 weeks over the next year. And it was about serving those people. Mm-hmm. She saw a need, had a desire to help those people. And then I feel like in what you're doing with real estate, you're helping people find their next homes. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of service that happens in that. And so I could see how that transition is really easy for you, and where you would come here and really enjoy the job that you're doing, because it has a lot of ties to what your heart in missions was.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
For sure.
Do you feel like you had, because obviously missionary work is an amazing calling, mm-hmm. and it is driven by something much bigger than just us.
Yeah.
Did you have a lot of inner conflict about, well, if I go home, like, am I really following God's call? Am I making a mistake? Because is this my heart or my head, or was there conflict for you on that?
I think it was, yeah, I think I knew when I wanted to go, like I knew it wasn't the time, because I was leading a team of like 20-year-olds, and we had like 3 months left. So I was like, well, I can't leave now. But every time I thought about it, even when I did have the opportunity to go, I think it was just this thing of like, I felt like it wasn't time. And now, and even though that was all I wanted, and now looking back, I can see that, because I think if I would have come home when I had, that I probably wouldn't have had the opportunities that I've had since I've been home, or maybe been as appreciative. And like I said, like when I came home, like a lot of like my community came back. And I think like, honestly, like I think a part of it was this fear of like, I haven't been in Chillicothe in 3 years. And it was scary. Just not knowing what you were coming back home to, and seeing all of this change. I think that was a big driver for me, which I'm not proud to admit, but yeah.
So to take a step back,
mm-hmm.
tell us about, it was the World Race. Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
So tell us about that, because I think for people that are listening to this, they may have no clue of what we're really kind of talking about here. Uh-huh. It's a different thing than just going to, New Guinea or New mm-hmm. Zealand or, Southeast Asia and just going there and staying. It's a different feel. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So each year was kind of structured a bit differently for me. But so your typical world race trip is 11 countries in 11 months. It's called like 11 and 11. And you go to 3 different continents, and you go to a country, and you serve like the missionaries there, like different organizations. And a big part of it's really just serving the people that are already planted there, so that you're not just going and then you're coming in and, like just coming in and then leaving. But really serving the people that are investing in these communities, have built these long-term relationships and are planning on staying with the people there. And then my world race was called World Race Fusion. And they we went to 16 countries and in 11 months, and they pretty much dropped us off in Colombia, and we had a 2-week training. I didn't know these people. And they were like people from like all over the world. So, it was like a big melting pot.
With, I would imagine, a language barrier in some regards too, right?
Luckily, they knew English.
Okay.
Like we had one native Spanish speaker and a woman from Paris, and she actually learned English on her world race.
Okay.
And then she like led our team, so she already knew English by the time she worked with us. But yeah, so we worked with them, and then we would pretty much pray. And the way that it was, so say we were in South America for 3 months, got dropped off in Colombia, and we would pray and figure out like where to go next. And then we all had to meet in Ecuador a month later. Or like when we were in Europe, dropped off in Spain, did the Camino, and then we just had to get to Turkey like 3 months later. So it was kind of like free range, which was awesome. And yeah, so that was kind of like the structure of my trip, but a typical world race trip is more structured. Yeah. So
you were kind of left to figure some of this stuff out kind of on the fly.
yeah.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's an
and you mentioned the Camino. I would love to come back to that at once. That's a bucket list for me, is to do. How much of the Camino did you do?
So we went from Pamplona to Burgos. So we only did like 10 days of it, but if we had more time, we definitely wanted to do more.
Yeah.
But,
Oh yeah. Have you ever, what's The Way? Have you seen the movie?
so good. So good.
Fantastic. We just left the conversation. I apologize, but
no, I'm still here. Just so you know,
the Camino de Santiago is basically the way of St. James, and it's this pilgrimage that people come from all over the world to Spain, and some start in France, some start in lots of different places, and it all converges at the St. James Cathedral, right? And it's a neat thing.
It sounds pretty cool. So how many countries have you been to?
28.
Wow.
28.
Yeah.
All as part of this world race?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Most of them. Yeah. But yeah, did some hopping a little bit before that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So as part of the race, what do you think your favorite experience was, or what country did you really feel like you really just connected with?
Oh, it's a hard question, but I would say
that's why I'm here, is the hard questions.
I would say Indonesia. I ended up going back there alone after the world race. So we, of course, like you guys know what happened with like Afghanistan and stuff. So I was there in 2018 and then went back early 2019. And there are a lot of refugees from Afghanistan, primarily in like Iran, Ethiopia, Syria, like surrounding areas, but mainly Afghanistan. And they all, like, there are a lot of them in Indonesia, which I had no idea. Like it was my first time in Asia whenever we went, and I was not expecting to be working with people in the Middle East the whole time. But we stayed at a school for refugees. So that was very impactful for me. We stayed in this place called Shisarwa, and there is this huge Afghan community. And there's like this group of guys, like they all have like different backgrounds. Like one was like a film director in Afghanistan, and he actually had to flee because he was like doing a documentary on the Taliban and was targeted by them. And then there was this one guy that was like a news anchor, and then just like these random guys. And they saw that like they thought that they would only be in Indonesia for like a year with their families until they could get to Australia or get placed in a different location. But then we were with them when they found out that they were going to be there at least for like another 8 years. And they're not allowed to work. They're not allowed to do anything. So they're just kind of living in limbo. So these guys, they decided to start this school called HLC. And now, like, I mean, the schools, like there's so many schools for refugees there, and they're all started by refugees. And it's pretty much people that don't even have an education background, and they're just trying to figure it out and make a good life for their children. So that was something that I think really impacted me, because we were able to like live with them and really, really just dive into their culture. And it's heartbreaking because they're the kindest people I had ever met, and such a beautiful culture. So yeah, I think that was definitely the one place that if I could go back to today, I would be there in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, what do you think all of your experiences by visiting all these other cultures, what of that experience have you brought back to Chillicothe that you feel like helps our community? Not me, just like from your perspective. What is there anything from those countries that you visited that you feel like you've brought home and still?
Yeah. First, definitely my kitchen.
So from like a food standpoint.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Fantastic.
But I think the biggest thing for me, I mean, stories are really important to me, and sharing other people's stories. And so I think really just being able to like have built those relationships and like maintaining those relationships still, but also being able to take those stories and kind of like share with people here what's actually happening like overseas, and kind of, kind of like being able to take other people's stories and share them, and show people like there's so much more here, and like there's so much that we don't know about that. It's impossible to know everything that's happening all around the world, but whatever stories I can share, I think those are probably the most valuable things for me. For sure.
Obviously, I think when we talked last week, you had said that you'd been contacted again by some of the groups that you'd worked with in the past, and they were trying to kind of entice you back a little bit. It's not fair to ask you whether or not you would ever go back again, because, I mean, who knows, right? But what do you think keeps you here right now?
I think it's this community, like the people. I don't know. It's this weird thing that I don't know how to convey it well, but it's just the people and the community. And I feel like a lot of our community has the same heart, for the same place, like just seeing Chillicothe thrive. And I think it's this thing of like this huge desire of just wanting to be a part of that. And just knowing like I lived it, I was there. And like maybe, you never know, like I could go back one day, but while I was there, all I wanted was just to be here in Chillicothe. Yeah. And so just even that reminder of like, okay, like there are days where I want to be back overseas. I miss it. Like it was a cool thing, but nothing beats home.
Yeah. I was actually at my office yesterday, and a couple came in. I was actually by myself because we have one person on vacation. The other person was out to lunch. I don't seem to eat lunch much anymore. So this couple comes in. They ask me for some information about historic sites, things like that. We get chatting. Oh, we lived in California for the last 8 years. So, oh yeah, are you originally from here? And that's why you moved here? No, he's actually from the Cincinnati area. She's from out there.
Justin Be Real.
And what?
Justin Be Real.
No, this is, I don't know. Maybe.
She work at Paper City?
No.
Oh.
No, I know who you're talking about.
Oh.
But no, this was an older couple.
Oh.
And so we just get to chatting and so on. And I said, so let me ask you a question. How do you like it here so far? Because it's kind of a big change. And he, of course, said, well, I'm from Cincinnati, so it's a little different, but it's Ohio. And I said, well, Cincinnati's almost kind of, northern Kentucky, really, and he goes, no, that's definitely true. He said, you can walk down the street in Cincinnati and no one will say a word to you. Here, you don't walk 5 feet without somebody saying hello. And he's like, that's the thing that I really like about this place is that people are willing to engage you and have conversations with you. Like, for example, I didn't know I was going to walk in here and end up having a half-hour conversation with you. But like, I've enjoyed every minute of this. And I think that's kind of what you're talking about. That sense of community, when you care enough to know, I don't know this person, but I'm going to ask them questions about themselves and why they're here, indicates that you're probably less likely to just be like, it's just some person. Here's your stuff. Move along. You know, you want to engage and get to know them and know their life. Like I gave them my card. Hey, if you ever have any questions, it's got my cell phone number. You can text me, you know, like they're like, really? Yeah. Like that's just a thing we do, you know, like, and I think that's part of it. You know, I think when you know that your community is engaging like that, it's a lot easier to come back to it, maybe, you know?
Yeah.
So, it was just an interesting conversation. You know, I'm not going to tell you that happens every day, but when it happens, it's a lot. That story's repeated a lot, you know? So,
I mean, just like on the podcast with Andy, talking about the couple that lives on a farm in Commercial Point that were looking to rent one of the apartments upstairs downtown Chillicothe because they've fallen in love with the community.
Wow.
Do you think it took you leaving and visiting all those other places to maybe understand the love that you have for Chillicothe?
Yeah. Because the grass is always greener.
Yeah, sure. I
bet it's really green in Indonesia, right?
It is, yeah.
Much warmer
About as green as your shirt.
Yeah.
And I think my kids are discovering that too, because it's funny to see the joy they have when they come back home to visit for things and how they look forward to coming back home. And so I do think that I think it is important for young people to get out and explore and see the world. I think because it changes your worldviews, and that's important. I think that's how we move forward as a community, because then they bring those things back home and have an impact on Chillicothe and Ross County and Southern Ohio. And you have so many people that never, ever leave home. And so I think sometimes when you never get to experience things, then maybe Chillicothe doesn't look so good in your eyes, or, you know, your community, not just Chillicothe, any community that like every community has this problem. And sometimes it's like, you need to go see other parts of the world to really maybe understand poverty or really understand being hungry, or, you know, I know how missions
or that
work
sometimes the
kids.
problems that we have are the same problems that other places have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
we
a
tend to look
point,
at
Mike.
ourselves and go, oh, this place, you know, whatever you do after that. And then, you know, somebody, you know, I used to hear forever during the opiate, you know, crisis, which is not over yet, but, you know, the worst of it, we would hear, no place has it like this. This is Chillicothe. And I'm like, go anywhere in America and you're going to see this. And I think we're starting to realize that now, but I think you're right. You know, you know, it's cool to hear your story, because I think
it's fantastic.
What I really like about it is it's somebody younger than 35 that recognizes that it's great and wants to come back. So one of my other questions for you too, what kind of communities within our community have you now plugged into that have been a little bit of a surprise for you, or maybe you didn't see yourself gravitating that way? Especially when you're gone, the people that you were friendly with here before, they have a few years of growth in there. You're not the same person that you were. Was that different? And was it easy to get that cadence back with them, or did you have to kind of find new communities to plug into?
So my community, I think I've only added on to it because I have a really solid like community, which I am so thankful for. But I think the biggest surprise has been I came home and realized that a lot of people were moving from out of like state or out of town into Chillicothe. And that was a big surprise for me. Like, so Justin Be Real, like that I asked about. So she's from California. He's from Cincinnati, lots of friends from Dallas, and just like places that you wouldn't expect. And we have friends that come in like from Dallas and they're like, oh my gosh, Chillicothe's awesome. Like wanting to move up here. And it's like, it's amazing. Cause I mean, I lived in Dallas. There are a lot of really cool things in Dallas, but it's like seeing people from these places that everyone kind of like wants to move to, and they actually are really attracted to our small town life. That's been a surprise. And definitely just feeling like I've expanded in community. I think like with like, of course, like with working with Only in Chillicothe, like getting to know a lot of like business owners and stuff like that, and getting more into like that community, I think has been a really sweet and surprising thing. Because it's all people with the same vision too.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's cool. I think, it's funny. When I got here in 97, I had a group that I hung with, which was pretty centered on work, because literally I knew one other family in this town when I moved here. And then part of that family moved away. I married their daughter, and then we ended up getting divorced. And so there was okay, now I have to get a different community and this different. Oh, wait a minute. I have this community over here and this community over here. Oh, and my work community. I think it's kind of the ebbs and flows of growing up a little bit sometimes, right?
yeah.
And I think as you get older and your tastes and the things that you enjoy or that you have as hobbies or your work changes, you can pick up different and new communities, which is kind of fun,
Yeah.
So where do you see, I mean, this is like I'm almost like, it's like a college interview. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
No.
I wouldn't say that. I like, how do you feel? Do you feel like you've found home and this is where you want to be, and it feels like you'll stay there for a while, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't see myself leaving. Of course, like everything's subject to change, but I definitely just feel so at home and at peace with this community.
Yep.
Yeah, I think like, of course, everything changes, but long term, I would be more than happy to be a part of Chillicothe, and I think it's only going to get better. So if I can be in person for that, I would do it.
Yeah. Yeah. That was kind of my experience. I mentioned that, I thought I'd stay 5 years, being in journalism, which is where I was before. Everybody's kind of transient. You go until you either decide that, you don't make enough money, or you don't have the right title. And then you go to the place that'll give you the money and the title. Mm-hmm. And I was fortunate enough to come here with one title, a year later, get the title. The money never followed, but I just felt like what you said. I think you captured it perfectly. Like, I just felt at peace. Like, this was where my home was. It's more home now to me than my own hometown.
Wow.
And so that's a pretty special place when you think about it. Whether you grew up here and never left, or you grew up, left, or, immigrated here, or wherever you want to call it, it's pretty special to find that kind of place, you know? And so if that's where we are in life, that's not a bad place at all,
Absolutely.
And I think with your spiritual background and with your missionary background, you have to be sensitive to the leading and the calling of God. Mm-hmm. But there are seasons to our life. I think we talked about that last week, like you did your thing and you felt called to come back here. And so now you're here and you feel called to stay.
Yeah.
And that's a good place to be.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think about, the purpose of this podcast, and when we talk about it, it's something I feel like I mention it every time, but it's, shining light on things that people don't know about. And Mike and I, we have a front row seat to watch what's going on in his position. And with I work for Kingston National Bank, and we love to, really invest in the community. And so I feel like I've got kind of a front row seat from my job and my position, but there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
And it's real easy to get excited about it. And when I hear people say, and I probably said it myself when I was younger, there's nothing to do here. And then I look and I just want to tell them, like, open your eyes, like, get involved in something, and you will discover all that there is.
You'll have people beating down your door to do things with you, like, hey, and then stuff that's going to open your mind and broaden your horizons,
Yeah. Even stuff like before this, I mean, we were talking about like the Monday night bike rides. Like, what other small town has almost 200 people a week on a work day just get together to ride bikes for an hour and hang out after? Like, it's like
so great.
It's amazing.
Just little things like that, but it's all community minded. It's like all centered around this community, and I think that's what makes those things even more special.
Yeah.
Well, Chillicothe works best when we are pulling together. Like, we did not solve the overdose crisis by having the buck 50, but we addressed a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody does their part, right? Some people run, some people man a checkpoint, some people run the whole operation. We had Dave Huggins on very early in our podcast. We should probably have him on now that we're good at it.
Yeah, he was one of the first couple episodes. We probably struggled through that.
But I mean, like, that is the story. Like, Carlisle Building doesn't get done because one person says, "Oh yeah, I'm just going to renovate it and do it." It had to take the Chesler Group from out of town, Adina, health system. Again, like, I look at Fort Collective. That is a guy from Piketon, a guy who's originally from Bucyrus, a woman who is originally from Louisiana, another person that's from here, another guy that I think was from Columbus. Like, it's like a melting pot down there, you know, like, we're always better when we're working on things together. You know? And I think we're going to continue to see success if we continue to work together and we continue to say, what? And continue to ask the question, well, what would it be like if we just did ... right?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that's kind of how a bike ride started.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's kind of how a buck 50 started, or a sand volleyball tournament, or whatever,
And it's the smallest step too, that like every small step counts. Like, I remember being in high school walking downtown. I thought it was so cool. It's like a cool little ghost town, like there's nothing down here. And then one day, Totem Supply. And I think like places like that, just, it starts like, they're like, oh, I can do that too. And it's every small step that adds up for sure.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for the Liz Corzines and the Courtney Lewises of the world who basically said, before this is a thing, we're going to have a thing. And Liz is out of it now. She, First Capital Nutrition is in the spot that she used to have at Schlegel's. But I mean, I remember when Schlegel's and the Cross Keys and that was pretty much it. Carl's was down there. Like, there wasn't a lot down there. And I think once people caught the vision, it really started to make things really sing.
Yeah, I've said it before. There's a sense of bravery that our entrepreneurs and our small businesses, and even our larger businesses, like with Adina and with the Carlisle Building, catching that same vision and being brave enough to, like, okay, this could fail.
Yeah.
But we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And you get to not to the end, but you get to, like the first goal, the first phase, and go, okay, this is really good. Now let's build on that.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a sense of bravery that we didn't have for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it takes a sense of bravery to leave the world behind and come back here too. I mean, I really respect it. I think that, and the way that you've re-embraced your hometown, I think, is an inspiration for a lot of folks that, look, there's a lot of naysayers out there. There's a lot of people that will nitpick every little decision that gets made, but it's really the people that are the pioneers that are out there doing the work are really the people that, are putting their own blood, sweat, and tears and ideas on the line. And we're glad you're home.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's good to have you home. I didn't even know who you were like 2 years ago. So
no.
It's cool to see. When did you actually come back again?
May of 2021.
Okay.
Wait, 2020?
2020, yeah. Because you did say it was during COVID. So.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you work someplace else before you started working for Meredith?
Yeah. So I worked at Hometown Threads, and I was a manager there and just doing social media for businesses. So, yeah.
Amazing. And do you possess a marketing degree?
No, I do not.
You're just really, really good at social media.
I had really awesome people pour into me before I left. Never touched a camera. And then I had a wedding photographer that I really admired. She was from Cincinnati. She asked me to help her. And she taught me how to focus the camera and just kind of threw me into it. And then her and then another photographer in town just really invested in me and wanted to, they were very intentional in teaching me. And so a lot of what I know is kind of from them. So that's kind of the degree that I have.
You can say their names. It's not like we're not.
Oh, yeah. It's confidential.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Well, that's cool. And I think that especially as we continue to try to develop younger talent around here, it's really important for us to capture that lesson, which is if I'm going to do the thing that I do, it's important for me to bring somebody younger along with me because I'm not going to be here forever.
mm-hmm.
And if they learn something from me and do it a little differently, that doesn't hurt anybody as long as the job's getting done. You know? And I'm super glad that you had some good mentors in your life and some people, you're working with some great people now, with the exception of one young lady that
Your wife.
so I'm kidding.
Yeah.
She's probably
We love
listening
you.
right
She will
now.
be
She's like
listening.
shaking her head.
I got your back, Kels. Don't you
yes.
worry.
I meant Mary DePew. No, I'm kidding. No, that's a great team over there. And I don't just
It
say that
is.
because my wife works there. I feel like they've coalesced now.
Yeah.
And it feels like a much better. I know we just got a new admin here for Meredith, but like I feel like that team is really starting to gel, which is nice.
Yeah.
So.
It's one of the best team dynamics I could have ever asked for. It's a pretty solid group. So yeah, if you're listening and you're interested in buying or selling a home, just kidding. Tomlinson Group.
They
No,
don't.
it
That
is.
not
It
a
is
paid
really
promotion. I want to be clear about that. That was all
Even
done
though
by
they
the
are-
guest.
they do
who
have
was-
a house
great.
listed.
So sorry for
So.
this.
I am
Weird
partial
humor.
to them, however. I mean, part of my daily life comes from there. So.
No, but it's very great and very community minded
Yeah.
too. So
Well, I mean, keep doing what you're doing because it's working. I feel like you just sort of scratched the surface on what Jordan's going to be in the community.
Yeah,
And
I think so too.
I'm excited that you've grown up here. You grew a little while you were gone, and now you brought it all back here. I think it's just a really cool experience to have you here. So,
And Mike talks about that all the time, the importance of if people not leaving the community, like coming back home.
Yeah.
Maybe you leave for a little bit, but come back home and understand how you can have an impact. So it's great to see somebody doing that.
I have no grudge against anybody that leaves.
No.
I left my own hometown. I found a different place. I've been asked to come back. I didn't go back, but I felt like it was important for me to stay here. People need to see other things. But we do want to keep talent coming back to Chillicothe. And I think we have a better chance, especially as people work from home more. I think it might be our time. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we're discovering that you can do just about anything you want to do from Chillicothe.
yeah.
And that's exciting.
Yeah. And thank you guys for having this podcast and highlighting that and letting people know that. And I feel like it's definitely just a huge way for people to see people in our community and what they're doing. And so I appreciate you guys for that.
And thanks.
well, thanks for coming on. It's been great. I appreciate it.
You're listening to the Feels Like Home podcast with Mike Throne and Marty Ford. Powered by Horizon. This is big. This is gig.
It feels a little strange, but I don't feel alone. We just settled in and it already feels like home. Feels like home. Feels like home.